Okay, I'll call this meeting to order of the Southampton Board of Select Board at 4:30 PM and I put you at 4:31 just turned. And Sue, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, we have several adjustments to the 6 o'clock meeting, but do we have any adjustments to this agenda? Okay. Public comment for items not on the agenda? I see one member of the public.
And one up there,
Huh?
there's one up
Oh,
there
sorry,
too.
I'm not sure who that is.
Wonderful.
Do you have any public comment for items not on the agenda?
I'd say not.
Okay. All right, new business, set the FY 24-25 mill or tax rate. So Kevin, our assessors agent, has given us a municipal tax rate calculation standard form. Why don't you walk us through it, and for the public as well, too, because we're being.
Sure.
We're being recorded.
Sure. So one of the things we did this year, the board voted to apply another factor to our real estate values to attempt to keep us up to current market value. And that factor this year is 1.2. So that factor gets applied to all real estate within the town. And so you'll all notice a large increase in our total valuation, real estate valuation this year in the vicinity of 66.5 million. The calculation form here that John was referring to, basically when I give it the new values, the new real estate values, the new personal property valuation, and all the other data on here that it's looking for, it gives you a minimum, or gives us a minimum and maximum mill rate that we can choose. And this year's minimum and maximum mill rate is, the minimum is 13.06. The maximum is 13.71. So that's where we're at. It will be the board's decision to choose a mill rate within those parameters that they would like to use.
Okay, and that gives us an overlay similar to last year's.
Yes, if we were to go with the 13.15 that I have in front of us, it would give you a mill rate that, I mean, an overlay that is similar to last year's overlay.
And based on. I do have a little sheet, but based on. Assumed mill rate that you plugged in
Yes,
of
13.15.
right, we did some quick calculations on a $300,000 house. That would increase. The taxes about. $350, right, or somewhere in that vicinity. I believe we came up with. Yeah, I got it. I didn't subtract it. Yeah. And $200,000 house, it was, a few $100, so.
Yeah.
So I guess I just wanna repeat that even though everybody's value goes up, if everything else remains the same, the mill rate comes down. So your tax bill should be the same. Now, well, everything's not the same here, but. So there is at that assumed rate, there is a slight increase.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so. Questions? Do we wanna see other scenarios? I have a couple of comments, but I'll open it up to you guys first.
No.
Huh?
I'm good. Walter has a question.
Let me, I just, do you have a comment, Joe?
No, I'm good.
You don't, okay, Walter.
So I have three questions. Is the 1.2 factor on top of last year's factor?
Yes, correct.
Pardon?
Kevin, I just.
Yes,
Kevin,
yes,
yeah.
correct,
So
absolutely.
if I were to go back to last year's evaluation before you did that, well, it doesn't.
Well, it
I
won't
can
come
do
out
that.
exactly because the 66.5 million also includes any new splits or any,
Right,
someone's
okay.
new garage or,
Yeah, right.
yeah, a new
Yeah.
home or.
It's not
So
worth it. It's not worth doing the math.
it's a combination of things, but the
Paul,
bulk of
to
it.
answer your question, yes, your number initially from 2022 was factored by 15%, and then 23's was factored by 20%, so yes.
You might want to change that on vision, Hannah. Because it's still saying last year, it's the red thing.
Yeah.
On the, it's not reflective what they're about to do.
Well, that's because we're about to do it.
Yeah, we haven't done it.
So the 917,516 includes surplus. It's all the town's revenue plus application of surplus. How much?
Whatever was used in the budget.
116,000.
And what do you think that's sitting at after that, Jeff?
11.2%.
Okay.
Well,
Worst case, we do have the audit and their numbers aren't jiving in my mind, so.
well, then that brings me to a question too. I was gonna bring up I think the surplus in here is understated by, Terry's not here, but I don't know if you remember the number, but we were supposed to use the zero out the paving reserve, and we didn't. If you look at still has $43,000 in it or something like that. So that should be zeroed out, and when it is zeroed out, that'll bump up the surplus 43,000 more.
Right.
So I don't know if you have other numbers. I haven't, I've been going through it. I haven't got through it yet, but.
Yeah,
The audit was the draft.
Because when you take what she's got for how much less we spent and add it to how much more we brought in revenue, and add it to where we ended up last year with, it comes out to a significant, well, I won't say a significantly higher, but a higher number than what she shows. About 130,000. So I'm showing it's about 135 short of what I think it should be. And that includes taking out the stuff that we're holding over for this year.
So that's a significant difference.
Yeah, so
But some of that could be, she takes a certain amount of the taxes that haven't been collected, puts them aside.
right,
So that could be part of that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, but, I was gonna prepare an email to send to, Hannah, to send to Mindy. If you wanna shoot me an email pointing out the specifics there, I can incorporate that in, so instead of having 2 or 3 emails flying around,
right.
Mindy can get one. None of my questions are any near as significant as that.
I have one more.
Okay, go ahead, Walter.
What will the tax bills look like for those people that have to pay back last year's
Well,
stabilization?
they don't have to pay it back.
Well,
So
We're gonna be there, okay. good.
right, so you got your valuation, and now you tack onto it the mill rate, and that'll give you your tax. But if you are comparing what you paid last year to what you pay this year, it's not just the 300 he indicated on 300,000. It's also the increase we had last year
Right.
that you didn't have to pay, but now is part of your total tax, right?
That's right.
But we have no control over that.
Right.
That's- I mean, the state repealed that law, it was ill-conceived to begin with,
Mhm.
people got a break for a year, and now it's coming back to.
Right.
Yeah.
It just will cause a sticker shock.
It is, for those people,
Right,
because it's only those people that were stabilized.
correct. So if you were stabilized last year, when you look at your bill this year, it's gonna look significantly more
Right.
than what it was last
And
year.
you should have our representative's number to the state legislature, very handy.
They've already heard from me.
Well, it was ill-conceived, the bad decision was made 2 years ago, but
It would, to me, it would have failed the constitutional challenge of creating two classes of taxpayers anyway. And they should have let that go forward rather than repeal it, something that's. But it's a state that has a $265 million surplus. Right, should have given us that.
well, that is an argument to perhaps apply a little more surplus to alleviate some of that sticker shock. I'm not saying I support that, but I'm saying that is a thought. I mean, she's saying our general fund surplus, she being the auditor, sorry. Was up. Cause I won't be able to put my hands on it right in a second. Sorry.
I think it's page 30.
37. Yeah, she's saying it went from, this is just general fund, right? Yeah, general fund. She's saying it went from 847, excuse me, from 766,000 to 848,000.
Yeah, which is, see, and that's less than 100,000.
Right, but that doesn't include the 40 that we just talked about.
Right, but if in her comments, she has,
What page? But that may be the overall town, not just the general fund. You're talking about at the top of page, oh, no page number. Page, probably. Oh, that's 11.
early when she,
9, top of page 7, it's not numbered. In the management analysis discussion. Right at the very,
no, it's.
I'm sorry, page 9. Where it says fund balance right here.
Oh. No, that's a different, I think it's.
Because that's where she indicates it's an increase of 22,000. 221,000,
Right.
but that's all the funds, not just the general fund.
That is true. Well, but there's another place where she says. Let's see. Okay, actual expenditures below final budget were 204,000. The line above that, its actual revenues were 123,000 more. So that's 327,000.
What page are we on?
I think it's that same one you were just looking at, where she says the 221. Next few lines. It's.
I don't see that.
It's page 8. It starts out management discussion.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's about next page, so it's along your right, that's it. Okay, so she says at the end, we had 221,000 more. That's that
Well, I'm not seeing where you are.
very first paragraph, does it say? At the end of the year, the town's government funds reported a combined ending fund balance of 101,800,000,
Yeah,
which is 221 from the prior year.
right.
Okay.
But then you read something about revenues.
Yes, so go, the next sentence is difference between, the next paragraph is difference between. And then the next one says actual revenues and other financial or financing sources were more than the budgetary estimate by approximately 123,000.
But again, this is all the funds.
Right, but it's revenue.
Right, but it includes grant funds and
Which
this is,
shouldn't make a difference. Right, grant
Well-
funds come in to pay. The only thing that would make a difference is interest on our accounts.
okay, well, we can ask that question because that is. But I have a feeling it has to do with the fact that it's the town-wide.
Yeah.
But,
And the next one is actual expenditure,
right,
which were 204,000 more than budgeted. I mean, less than budgeted. So even without that first one, that's 204,000 over and above where we were. And I think part of the conundrum is that when she does the audit, she fills in sources that have been paid, not transferred, right? So it's money that's physically coming in to pay off the costs. So if you're moving money from surplus, or you're taking it from reserves, and you are already meeting your requirements, then those don't happen. They just stay in surplus or they stay in reserves.
well, the surplus, I think that's not true.
Well, you just got to say.
Well, I know, but I think that's a mistake.
No, I think it's because she didn't need it.
Yeah,
She didn't need to move it
okay,
because
Alright.
the revenues were so high
okay.
and the budget was so low.
But the point of today, I think, is we certainly have. I mean, if what you're saying is true, we have even more than what she's saying.
Right.
So we don't need to.
But the amount that she's showing that we have, if we took 60,000 out of it, we would be at 10%, which I know for some folks is the rub.
Well. My suspicion is when we write her, we're gonna find that her numbers are right, cause they obviously.
Always are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
number one. Number two. I think at a minimum, we have, whatever the differences were in the general fund. So I guess the question I wanna pose is, do we wanna apply a little more surplus, and I don't know what a little more means yet. To sort of soften, for lack of a better word, the sticker shock that those people that were stabilized are gonna get.
Yeah. And I'm not averse to doing that because I always think, especially now when cash flow is not as big an issue as it used to be, that money we have in surplus is money we taxed and we owe to the people. I don't think we need more than 10% for our pad first.
So. Do we wanna ask Kevin to run a scenario with, say. It's not gonna make a huge difference, but 50 or 75,000 more or something like that, just to look at it, or is that too rich for your?
No, I would say 60,000. I would
Would you run another So just add 60,000 to the.
Other revenues.
To the anticipate, yeah, those, the 217. You'd have 60,000 there.
217.
Yeah, on that sheet you have,
I don't see it, 217.
or whatever it was, sorry. 917.
Not, okay, yeah, other
Yeah,
revenues.
just, yeah,
So we're adding 60
just
down,
try, yeah, just to see what that does,
other revenues.
and keeping the same over.
Well, can we do it with, I'm comfortable with the 25,000 over.
Then you're gonna have to. All right, well, he'd have to, well, he makes a point though, that there could be some mistakes.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. I'll go with the
You
35.
just would,
Yeah,
when you're dealing with these, and now they're compounded even, so it's like.
yep.
Like he said, all he's gonna do is fat, I was calculator a couple of times.
Too many, in any of those accounts that I went into.
Yeah,
I just don't wanna see the town have to try to figure out how they're gonna come up with that. You know.
you talked.
So we'll leave,
Better safe than
we'll
sorry.
leave the overlay
Just trying to get
and the
some.
mill rate alone and
Yeah,
all that.
but you can, I mean, make it a nice, easy number to remember, I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly 34,000 and overlay.
No,
Right, right.
no, and we won't touch any of that anyway, I'm just gonna add,
Yeah,
I'll do that.
well, all I'm saying though, is you might not wanna have a mill rate that has.
Yes.
60,000
I'm with you.
decimal places.
Yeah, I'm with you, I got it.
Or might be not.
Surprised. John,
Huh?
I'm surprised.
What?
Well, that does set up the hard lesson that Jeff inherited from me on the transfer station of 000 kaboom.
Why he's doing this, this is from our vet, I could have 60, I'm gonna take this. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, the mill rate that we were just talking about, it looks like about a 5.9% increase.
And last year's was? I didn't pay attention because hey,
I think it was 7.8 last year.
yeah, that sounds right.
So we're doing better this year.
Hi, Heather.
I was even kind of hoping we'd get to a 0.
I was anticipating a message and I was in a meeting.
We'd have to take 300,000 out of
By the time I
surplus.
answered, it was on.
That might be a little rich for some folks' blood.
Yeah. Yeah, we left a message for Dr. Lino earlier. Yeah. This afternoon.
Smells better in here.
Yeah,
I don't smell.
opening the windows up a little
Yeah.
bit.
I think my daughter, she walked in here earlier, she would have immediately broke out.
Yeah.
I was wondering if anybody was allergic.
Yeah, one of my nieces is, she can't be anywhere near it, doing cooked or anything.
Yeah, when I cook at the house, I do it outside.
Yeah, we always try to. Who was? Is she in that ambulance? Oh, okay.
Careful, we'll be at a meeting. She's like, I thought it was at 6. You're like, well, there's another one.
That smell lingers too.
I think it was at least a little better, there was claws and not like scallops or something like that.
Yeah.
Cause those linger for days.
Let me talk about, I'm gonna speak, I'll talk about it, I'll talk about the last thing, get back to you tomorrow. Okay. All right, oh, it's not bad. Kristen hasn't tried to come in yet.
No,
It's at 5-ish. So I don't know when that is, but ish.
Depends on your definition of ish,
right anywhere between 5 and 5:30.
or 4:30 and 5:30.
Okay.
I don't know, the 60,000 is gonna have a huge impact, but
No.
it's actually.
Yes. It might take it to below one. Or 13. But barely.
And you follow this?
A little bit.
Perfect, and all three quarters, everything, another 9,003, the request of the evaluated, email, from all the fall. And next year, you're gonna have to do the levy calculation, which is probably the hardest task in this whole building. It is pretty.
Actually, you don't have to do
I was
it.
gonna say, did they,
Did away with it.
Did away with it.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Jeff still wants to do it though.
I still want to do it.
As an academic exercise.
Well, it's more than that, because I mean, although it's cumbersome and it really doesn't.
Everybody was doing it differently.
Right. Yeah, it still gives a target for budgeting that says, okay, we don't want to go too hog wild. I mean, good, because it would be easy if you didn't have that as a cross check to end up right here and find out we're having a 15% increase.
Well, you see what's happening up in Hallowell, they have a city council, so the city council passed the budget. And it was very dramatic tax increase, I think like 20% on the tax bill. Which wasn't just the city, it was also school, and now they've either received or there's a group putting together a petition. To force them to lower that. Which according to their charters, you know, something they can do, they have to file a petition within so many days.
Yeah.
So it kind of it's sort of a veto check on the council's budgetary power. I was reading about that.
So it wasn't the case in Waldeboro, you must have been involved in that, right? And then the voters voted one thing and then the select board overrode them and.
Yeah, that was a little
Listed
different.
one in front of the Supreme
That
Court.
was a little different. They argued that the town voted to pass their budget by. Kristen. I'll speak to her. Is she there?
In a second. Yeah.
Hi, Kristen. This is John. How are you?
Hi,
We're just finishing up on our mill rate. I don't think we'll be more than 5 minutes. Does that work for you?
for me, yeah.
Okay.
So what I've done here is added the 60,000 that we talked about from surplus. It goes into other revenues. It changed your minimum and maximum mill rates. Minimum being 12.91, maximum 13.55. I left the overlay as close as I could get it to the same as our last scenario. And in this scenario, it would equal a flat 13 mill rate.
I like that.
I'm good.
It's an easy number to remember.
So basically, it shaves off basically, it takes us from 13.15, which was our last scenario, down to 13 flat for the mill rate. So
It's not a lot, but
not a lot, but
it's
it's a step in the right
it's an effort
direction.
to try to soften the blow of the repeal of that. Of the people that were stabilized, so. Further discussion, is there a motion?
I move we set the mill rate at 13.0.
I second that.
Further discussion, any comment from the chair of the budget committee? No?
I approve.
Okay, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Very much.
So I will print these out and I'll print your paperwork out so you can get it signed.
Yeah, okay, they can start running back.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna skip out of here also, so
Yeah.
we'll catch you all.
Thank you, Terry. Yeah, we'll go in and do executive session anyway.
Okay.
Or I think we are, we gotta vote on it.
The plan.
Yeah, so shoot me that. Still shoot me that, even though I think I understand, but yeah, so we'll. Cause I'd like to get the acceptance of the audit on the next. So first, we're just getting Terry, she's in the other room.
Bring my crib.
I didn't print off that thing that Terry sent us either. Hope she's got copies.
The fees,
Yeah,
yeah, I did. But it went on to 2 pages.
Get Maggie.
gonna be what?
Get Maggie,
From where?
the room, she didn't wanna leave.
Huh?
She didn't wanna leave the room.
Oh, she didn't have to go, yeah, I thought you meant she had to go get her.
Was she,
Well, why don't we,
she misbehaved in there by herself?
No.
Is there a
she was on her
motion?
way down.
is there a motion to enter executive session to have a conversation with our town attorney pursuant to 1 MRSA section 4056E?
So moved.
Seconded.
Further discussion, all those in favor? Okay, so you gotta shut the.
Yeah.
Recording and.
Here,